On this day in history, January 18th. In 532, during the reign of Emperor Justinian I, the Nika Riots erupted in Constantinople, sparked by tensions between rival chariot racing factions, the Blues and the Greens. The unrest escalated into a significant threat to the imperial authority, with rioters setting parts of the city ablaze and proclaiming a new emperor. After several days of chaos, Justinian ordered a brutal suppression of the revolt, resulting in the deaths of thousands and the restoration of order. In 1562, Pope Pius IV reconvened the Council of Trent for its third and final session. The council, which had begun in 1545, was a cornerstone of the Counter-Reformation, addressing doctrinal and disciplinary issues within the Catholic Church in response to the Protestant Reformation. The final session concluded in 1563, resulting in significant decrees on church reform and the affirmation of key Catholic doctrines. In 1670, Welsh privateer Sir Henry Morgan led a daring expedition against the Spanish stronghold of Panama City. After a grueling overland march, Morgan's forces attacked and captured the city in 1671, amassing considerable loot. However, because the raid occurred after a peace treaty between England and Spain, Morgan was arrested upon his return to Jamaica. Despite this, he was later knighted and appointed deputy governor of Jamaica. On January 18, 1778, British explorer Captain James Cook became the first known European to reach the Hawaiian Islands. He named them the Sandwich Islands in honor of his patron, the Earl of Sandwich. Cook's arrival marked the beginning of significant cultural and societal changes for the Hawaiian people. In January 1788, the First Fleet, carrying convicts from Great Britain, arrived at Botany Bay, Australia. This event marked the beginning of European colonization in Australia. Finding Botany Bay unsuitable, the fleet relocated to Port Jackson, where they established the settlement that would become Sydney. In 1806, during the Napoleonic Wars, British forces sought to control the strategic Cape Colony in South Africa. After the Battle of Bleiburg, Dutch governor Jan Willem Janssens surrendered the colony to the British on January 18, solidifying British influence in the region. On January 18, 1871, in the aftermath of the Franco-Prussian War, King Wilhelm I of Prussia was proclaimed German Emperor, Kaiser, in the Hall of Mirrors at the Palace of Versailles. This event marked the unification of Germany under Prussian leadership, significantly altering the political landscape of Europe. In 1886, the modern sport of field hockey was formalized with the establishment of the Hockey Association in England. This organization standardized the rules and structure of the game, contributing to its development and international spread. On January 18, 1896, H.L. Smith publicly demonstrated an X-ray generating machine for the first time. This groundbreaking technology, following Wilhelm Röntgen's discovery of X-rays in 1895, revolutionized medical diagnostics by allowing non-invasive internal imaging. On January 18, 1911, aviator Eugene B. Ely achieved the first successful aircraft landing on a ship. He landed his Curtiss Pusher airplane on a specially constructed platform aboard the USS Pennsylvania in San Francisco Bay, marking a significant milestone in naval aviation. In 1915, Japan presented the 21 demands to the Republic of China, seeking to expand its influence over Chinese territory and politics. The demands strained Sino-Japanese relations and elicited international concern over Japan's intentions in East Asia. On January 18, 1919, renowned pianist and composer Ignacy Jan Paderewski was appointed Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of newly independent Poland. His leadership was instrumental in establishing Poland's presence on the international stage post-World War I. In January 1941, during World War II, British and Commonwealth forces initiated a counter-offensive against Italian-held territories in East Africa. The campaign led to the eventual defeat of Italian forces and the liberation of occupied regions, including Ethiopia. In January 1943, Jewish inhabitants of the Warsaw Ghetto staged an armed resistance against Nazi efforts to deport them to concentration camps. Though the uprising was ultimately crushed, it marked a significant act of defiance and inspired further resistance efforts. On January 18, 1945, the Soviet Red Army liberated the city of Krakow, Poland, from Nazi occupation during World War II. The operation spared much of Krakow's historical architecture from destruction and marked a key step in the Soviet advance toward Germany. On January 18, 1958, Willie Aree made history as the first black player in the National Hockey League, debuting for the Boston Bruins. Aree's groundbreaking career helped pave the way for greater diversity in professional hockey. On January 18, 1960, Capital Airlines Flight 20, en route from Washington, D.C. to Norfolk, Virginia, crashed into a farm near Charles City County due to engine failure. All 50 passengers and crew aboard were killed. On January 18, 1967, Albert DeSalvo, alleged to be the infamous Boston Strangler, was convicted of multiple charges, including armed robbery and sexual assault. Though he confessed to the Boston Strangler murders, doubts about his guilt in all cases persist. On January 18, 1974, Israel and Egypt signed a disengagement agreement brokered by U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger to end hostilities on the Egyptian front of the Yom Kippur War. The agreement included a ceasefire and the redeployment of forces. On January 18, 1977, scientists at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention announced the discovery of Legionella pneumophila as the cause of Legionnaire's disease, solving the mystery of the 1976 outbreak in Philadelphia. Australia's worst rail disaster occurred on January 18, 1977, when a commuter train derailed and struck a bridge at Granville, Sydney. The accident killed 83 people and injured over 200, leading to widespread calls for rail safety improvements. On January 18, 1978, the European Court of Human Rights found the UK government guilty of mistreating prisoners during the Troubles in Northern Ireland, but did not classify the treatment as torture. On January 18, 1981, Phil Smith and Phil Mayfield completed a base jump off a skyscraper in Houston, Texas, becoming the first people to achieve jumps in all 4 base categories: buildings, antennae, spans, bridges, and earth cliffs. On January 18, 1983, the International Olympic Committee restored Jim Thorpe's 1912 Olympic medals to his family, reversing a decision made decades earlier to strip him of the medals due to amateurism rules. On January 18, 1990, Washington, D.C., Mayor Marion Barry was arrested during an FBI sting operation for drug possession. The incident led to his conviction and temporary departure from politics. On January 18, 2002, the Sierra Leone Civil War was officially declared over after nearly 11 years of brutal conflict. The disarmament process marked a significant step toward peace and recovery for the nation. On January 18, 2005, Airbus unveiled the A380, the world's largest passenger jet, in a ceremony in Toulouse, France. The aircraft's debut represented a major milestone in commercial aviation. On January 18, 2012, over 115,000 websites participated in an online protest against the Stop Online Piracy Act, SOPA, and the Protect IP Act, PIPA, which were viewed as threats to free speech. Many websites temporarily shut down in solidarity.